letting the people stream in slowly as we come into this space, just gathering ourselves, putting our presence back into our body. So wherever you are, if you're tuning into this, my invitation to you is to truly allow yourself to deeply listen to the frequency that is being emitted from this live conversation. As with what I mentioned, this is a place of truly no judgment and no hierarchy. No, you are lower, I'm upper, and you know less and I know more. There's nothing like that here. And this is where I invite you to really allow yourself to listen and stir up any curiosity that you may have in a way that you can allow your mind to explore. Rather than closing up and saying, no, that's wrong, let's tune in and listen, as I will do for you as well. Okay, so this is one of the tenets of the spaces that I hold, that I really hold and uphold with a very strong intention. It has to be fully non-judgmental. And this is in line with the tradition that I carry. And for those that are new in this space, welcome. My name is Li Ying. I am a spiritual mentor, and I'm also a Cha Dao ceremonial keeper. Cha Dao is the way of tea in English, and it is a way of living that is honored in ceremony. And the ceremony itself, as you work with tea and ceremony, becomes a practice that will help you and guide you to embody the most high and divine expression that you are. So today we're going to dive into something that you probably have heard of in the world out there. If you're on social media, you probably have heard of this. If you're a coach, if you're a mentor, you may have heard of this as well, which is the art of feminine energy. Now, for those who have never heard of it, let me know. If you've heard of this and you yourself are practicing the art of feminine energy, please feel free to drop that into the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Now, my purpose of sharing this is to come in with a little bit of my personal experience, and also why I really stand on the ground that there's no way that you can learn the art of feminine energy, and that the core essence of feminine energy is truly in the unlearning. The core of the feminine energy is in the mystery. It is in the unknown. It is in the nothingness, which contains limitless potential. To dive deeper into this, I will begin by speaking about the Tao. Yeah, you heard me say Cha Dao. Now, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this. Cha itself means tea. Now, anyone can drink tea. You can drink tea as a beverage. You can be sipping on tea right now as you listen to this. And you can also work with tea as a spirit, as a way of living, a way of tapping into the field of intuitive intelligence. How do you do that? Well, you come back to remembering and honoring tea as a plant, tea as a plant spirit medicine, tea as an ancestor. Tea in ceremony is exactly how we do that. And in my tradition, what we do when we sit with tea, we commune with our hearts. Because when we commune with our hearts, we're no longer at the superficial consciousness. How many of you communicate from the superficial consciousness, right? Let's dive a little bit deeper into what that is. Firstly, a superficial consciousness is kind of like you coming into the space right here, right? And you're saying, hello, hi. And I would be like, oh, how are you? Caroline, how are you? Susie, how are you? Whoever, how are you, Ling? And you would say, oh yeah, I'm fine. But actually there's a lot more going on beyond the fine. right? And there will be this very superficial consciousness of I need to say the right thing so that she will like me, or that I shouldn't say that because then they wouldn't like me, or they wouldn't choose me, whatever it is that situation may be. And that is stemming from your superficial consciousness. That is stemming from your logical reasoning mind. And there is nothing wrong about this. I want to put it really powerfully here. There's nothing wrong about that superficial consciousness that I'm talking about right now. However, when we are working with the heart, when we want to experience more expansion in our lives, when we want to tap into the intuitive intelligence, the field of intelligence that is available for us and is us, when we want to return to deep remembrance of who we really are, our true nature can only be unveiled as it is, as all there is, when we come from the heart. When we drop in deeply and listen to the plant, when we drop in deeply to listen to our own divinity, and that's where I come into the second phrase, Tao. Tao literally translates as the way, but it is so much more than that. Tao is the source, it's the creator, it's the universe, the cosmos, it's the goddess. Tao is the wholeness that is us as well. We are Tao. And when we chose to come here as spirit, dropping in, funneling in from pure energy into matter, the one that's sitting right here, right now, what you're seeing is literally 0.01% of me. Yes, that's right. Everything else, the rest of the percentage, you cannot even see because there's literally formlessness to it. It's darkness. So what you see is because there's light. Yes? And so understanding that is to understand that there is a lot of limitless potential that exists in the quote-unquote darkness, the nothingness. The limitless potential exists in the mystery. It exists in the unknown. It exists in the lives' uncertainties, in lives, in the way that life doesn't give you the 100% guarantee. It exists in the illogical. And this is where I want to come in with the potency of practicing something that allows you to remember the feeling and the experience of Tao. Because here's the thing. How do we know? How do we get to the unknown, the darkness? Linda, thank you. Here's the thing I would say to that question. And thank you for your question, Linda. The unknown, it coexists with the known. Yang coexists with the yin. The masculine coexists with the feminine. And likewise, grief coexists with happiness, or rather happiness coexists with sadness, grief with love, I believe, because grief is another face of love. And here's where I want to dive deeper with you. How many of you shy away from the unknown? How many of you shy away from the mystery? How many of you fear the darkness? How many of you say, you know what, I just want to get over this unknown, this void that I'm in right now and just get out of it as soon as I can? When in fact, the void, the unknown, the darkness, if you're there right now, that is where the invitation is to go deeper so that you can unlock your limitless potential. And it isn't something I just throw out and say, limitless potential, woo! This is something I felt very potently for myself as a personal experience. I will share with you last year around the same time about now actually, I am based in Edinburgh in Scotland, so I took a trip up to the Isle of Skye because I felt the goddess calling me. And I went up to the sky landscape and went into the mountains, and I heard very distinctly the goddess speak to me, and she said, the divine desires to be expressed through you. The divine desires to live through you. Will you allow the divine to live through you? And I said, of course. Of course. I stood at the waterfalls and I said, yes, do it. Come through me. Live through me. I'm so ready. And can anyone guess what happens after? The minute that intention was set, I literally opened up my void, going into a dark, dark space of incubation, preparing to be rebirthed. But at that time, my external reality was reflecting back to me a lot of the doubts that I held. I couldn't believe what I felt. I couldn't believe the experience I had. And there were people telling me like, you know, that was probably something that you dreamt up, or like maybe you shouldn't do it this way, or maybe you should play it safe first, or whatever it is. But I knew at that time that this was a calling that was going to call me deeper, because I came from a place of where I found myself. I was already sharing and mentoring for about a year, and I knew that, oh, actually 2 years by then. This is my 4th year doing this work. So when I came to that point of hearing the divine speak to me, I knew that meant that I was going to be doing a huge pivot in my work. And that was going to mean that I was going to speak about things, about the divine, about expressing the divine, about how you can allow the divinity to move through you and to be expressed, how to become an embodied cosmos, literally expansive and vibrant, bringing a luminosity into the world. I knew that that was going to be where I would be moving into, and it was going to sound really weird because some people would never resonate with that, let's be real, right? But that was what I was being called into. And I struggled with doubts. I struggled with fears. I was thinking, what would people think? My mom was calling me and saying, I don't know what you're writing about. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. And you're going to alienate your audience. You know, I got all of that. I had all of that. And so I eventually went through the void. I stayed in the void. I surrendered fully. I definitely put up a fight. Let's be real. I was trying to make sense of it. And eventually the universe, God, source, Tao was so benign and so insistent that I get this, that always I was given that mandate, like stay in the void. Stay in the void until you understand what the void is. And that was like my training ground. The void, the unknown, the darkness, the mystery. And from there, gave birth to my mastermind called At Mystery's Gate. And this is something I'm really fully so proud of. Not from an ego sense, but because it's really transformed so many participants' lives and my own life. Just bearing witness in words that I can, there are no words to describe it, because what we do is that we don't do. This is where we unlearn the conditionings that have taught us that we have to come from this very superficial level of communicating with the world, because it is a mechanism. In a way, it's a mechanism to cope, it's a mechanism to defend, it's a mechanism to survive. And it's been coded in us through upbringing, through societal conditioning, even through the resonance of the ancestors' blood that runs through us. But here's the thing I want you to know. We are primed to be the new ancestors. and we get to write a new legacy as we speak. We're not here waiting for someone outside of us to change things. We are the change. We are the co-creators. And so when I stand here fully owning my truth, saying my truth, sharing my truth with you, I'm not looking to you to approve and say, yeah, you're right. I'm not standing here saying you have to get it and I have to, do whatever I can to make sure you get it. I am simply standing here and sharing my truth. And when I share my truth, I am deeply anchored in a balancing act of feminine and masculine energy. What does that mean? That means as the feminine energy part of me, I am completely emptying out myself to allow spirit to lead me. And this can be a terrifying thing for a lot of people because it is the unknown. It is a mystery. It can so often be something that makes zero sense. If you've ever been in this situation, let me know. And then on the other hand, I have the masculine energy supporting me, guiding me through to express this with unwavering faith, full trust that I'm being supported, that everything is always happening for me, as me, through me, because I am the divine, I am the sacred being expressed right here, right now. And my work with the feminine energy is to not stand in my own light's way, to not stand in spirit's way. And this is what it means to really be a visionary. If you identify with that, I'm a visionary, I'm here to bear the torch, I'm a light worker, I'm a light leader, amazing. And if you find yourself rummaging through resources or going into courses and programs, trying to learn the art of surrender, learn the art of manifestation, learn the art of leaning back to receive more, or whatever those words are out there, I want to ask you to become aware of what parts of you that you are giving your power away, in the sense that you are trying to do something in order to control the outcome. Trying to do something so that you manifest the exact thing, right? Trying to learn the art of feminine energy, and this often is what I hear often, right? Is that trying to learn to lean back, to put my word out there and then wait for divine timing. But actually you're like biting your fingernails and you're like, I'm not sure, like maybe I should do a little bit more of that saging, or maybe I should, I don't know, whatever it is, or go into a bath and have a rose petal bath 3 times a week. Maybe I should up it more, like 5 times a week now, because then that's like more feminine energy and more lean back energy, and the universe will see it and will give me what I want. That's a little bit extreme, but you know what I mean? It's like, that is not feminine energy. And this goes back to why I brought Chadao in, and why Chadao is the undercurrent for everything that I share. And by the way, if you are here and you want to join me for a beautiful 6/6 portal communion, a tea ceremony I'm hosting, Insight Timer is where you want to be. You can check that out on my events page, okay? But yes, Linda, I'm going to answer your question in a bit, but I want to bring this forward to you so that you can have a little moment to contemplate, okay? Do you feel that you are, let's bring feminine energy first, right? Feminine energy can also mean Wu Wei in my books. Wu Wei means effortless action. It's often translated as non-action, but I prefer the word effortless action. So it's like bringing yourself to the center of your divinity and you're taking the most aligned actions. And they are so effortless because they are in accordance with their true nature as it is flowing in the way as it would. And you're taking the action in alignment with that. So it's kind of like you are a ship and your sails are up and the wind is blowing the sails and you're going exactly where the direction of the wind is taking you. And you know exactly that you are literally the one who's holding space for this. And I actually love this quote. I'm gonna see if I can find it. And we can dive deeper into that. And it's by the Saint Francois de Sales. And so funny that his name is Francois de Sales because he literally wrote about the sails. And I want to read this to you. Okay. Are you ready? All right. Our free will can hinder the course of inspiration. And when the favorable gale of God's grace swells the sails of our soul, it is in our power to refuse consent and thereby hinder the effect of the wind's favor. But when our spirit sails along and makes its voyage prosperously, it is not we who make the gale of inspiration blow for us, nor we who make our sails swell with it, nor we who give motion to the ship of our heart, but we simply receive the gale, consent to its motion, and let our ship sail under it, not hindering it by our resistance. And this is the complete capsule explanation of Wu Wei or feminine energy. And to answer your question, Linda, what tools do we use to allow the spirit guide our day-to-day life? I would say to you, your answer is completely within you. To ask a question like this, you are still coming from a very masculine mind, yeah? A very logical mind, like I need to know, like what's the step-by-step? How do I do this? And this is the thing about, learning the art of feminine energy. Learning the art of feminine energy in 5 steps, in 10 steps. Learning the art of energy in 10 days. Give me the tools. I want the tools now. Let me ask the questions. I know, I trust, I am source, I am the divine feminine, but I still question. I have a question. I'm not sure. Like all these are signs that you're still very much operating from what I call the superficial consciousness. And again, like I said at the beginning, there's nothing wrong with this. We have to stop judging it as a wrong thing, but become aware of it, because when you become aware of it, you will start to notice how often you operate from the superficial level rather than the heart level, which is what all of us, even the ones who are not conscious about frequency or energy, we all can feel. We can feel the coherence. We can feel your soul. We can feel the vibration of where you're coming from. So instead of asking what tools do we use to allow the spirit guide our day-to-day life, my question to you is, how often are you present with yourself? How present are you in your body? Yes, Brooke, I believe that if I can figure it out, then I will have the quiet mind. It doesn't work. Exactly. It's like, I need to concentrate. I need to read the book. Okay, one word. Do you remember what you read? No, not at all. And so, the thing I want to read to you, I read this, I want to read it again so that you can tune in with your heart. Tune in with your heart this time. Don't listen with your ear, listen with your soul, okay? Our free will can hinder the course of inspiration. And when the favorable gale of God's grace swells the sails of our soul, it is in our power to refuse consent and thereby hinder the effect of the wind's favor. But when our spirit sails along and makes its voyage prosperously, it is not we who make the gale of inspiration blow for us, nor we who make our sails swell with it, nor we who give motion to the ship of our heart, but we simply receive the gale, consent to its motion, and let our ship sail under it, not hindering it by our resistance. And this is the unknown, this is the mystery. Can you allow the mystery to unfold? Knowing so deeply, so embodiedly, unwaveringly, everything is unfolding for you, as you, through you, because you are a fractal of the divine. You are divinity embodied. Can you allow that? And that quiet mind that Brooke is speaking about, control issues, this is something we are here to untangle. This is something we're here to unlearn. All of us. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Amazonia, welcome. Hola, hola. Mwah. So, what Brooke put here, I send compassion, and then I'm asking you, are you ready to flip the switch on this? Are you ready to flip the narrative of control issues? So much work to do. It doesn't work. Because here's another saying I love in the Tao. Firstly, 灵道, 心道. What that means is when spirit arrives, the heart arrives. Next, 心道, 意道. When the heart arrives, your intention arrives. And then 意道, 气道. Intention arrives, your chi arrives, your energy starts to percolate. From formlessness, it's beginning to funnel up, funneling in, becoming denser and denser. And finally, when energy arrives, well, in the Tao, it says energy arrives, blood arrives. So blood arrives, meaning the matter arrives. So where are you putting your intention? Where are you moving your focus towards? And this is not bypassing, by the way, everyone. When you do feel these thoughts coming up, it's about really melting the thoughts with love. It's not about catching it and self-flagellating yourself and saying, oh my God, you are so sucky and you should put yourself in the corner of the room. It's really about, okay, wow, I feel so inferior right now. And then start to drop the label of inferior and drop fully into your body. When the word inferior comes up, where do you feel the sensation of contraction or tension? And you go fully present in your body. And I really mean full presence. No trying to make sense of it, no trying to rush the process, like really coming deeply into yourself, into the part of your body that's asking for your attention, literally. And let me tell you, this is the energy that is being percolating inside of you. This is the part of your body that needs circuits to be built. Yes, chi is not flowing through there, and that's why it feels contracted. You know, my master always says this: you can be an athlete, a world-class athlete, and you are practicing for years and years, but you will never know expansion unless you are aware of it. And he was referring to the body, of course, but this is what he's trying to say, and I'm going to bring to you in a spiritual sense, is that we are so conditioned to survive. And this is not even about your, yes, it's your upbringing, it's your conditioning, it's your trauma, whatever it is that you went through in your life. And it could also be your ancestral pattern. But what I'm here to tell you is that these things are not hindering you in any way. They are in fact something, and I will go there, something that you wrote in your soul contract before you came down here to earth in order for you to remember through these very things who you really are. the divinity here to be expressed fully, the luminosity here to be expressed fully. Until then, you are not going to be able to hold space for another person's full divinity, because everything is a mirror of your consciousness. So when I say this is a non-judgmental space, what I'm really asking of you is to really deeply listen to yourself non-judgmentally. And this is what happens so often. It's like, you know, whether you have retreats or ashrams that you go to or whatever, right? Oftentimes we come from this mindset of, and if this is you, let me know. We come from a mindset like, okay, I'm going to go into the retreat for a weekend or 5 days and then I'll come out of it. And there's almost this expectation that you are not going to operate completely, fully like the one who is in the retreat. It's the same thing with, oh, I'm going to go for my walk in the forest or a mountain hike. I'm going into nature. I'm going to commune with nature. Yes? Or I'm going to go to the sacred space. I'm going to go into the sacred space to have a ceremony. I'm going to commune with the sacred. I'm going to go for a bath. I'm going to take a really good long bath, and I'm not going to do anything today because today is Venus Day and is my feminine day. Like one day in the week, I'm going to give myself that. And then you come out of it. And then you're like crazy, chaotic, hectic life all the other days, all the other times. Reacting instead of responding, hearing but not really hearing, right? So what if you knew that these things that we just mentioned, nature, feminine energy, love, the divine, the sacred, they've never been separate from you? What if you knew this so deeply? What if your spirit stirs in your heart and you can feel it and you do not ignore it? You do not say, well, this is just happening because I'm standing by the beach. But you actually allow that to expand. You allow that to root and anchor in and continue to expand through you and become the very fabric of your being. Because it is. We do not go into nature and come out of it. The ancestors, the ancient shamans, the sages, they did not go into a forest and say, I'm in the forest and I'm chilling with the forest and then come out of it. They were the forest. There is no separation. And that is why they can create from that effortless action. They can create effortless actions from that knowing, because they are so one and the same. They are one and the same as that. You are one and the same as nature. You are one and the same as love. You are one and the same as the divine. So when your mind gets in the way, you get to choose that again and again and again and again until one day you have no fucking doubt. Because the doubt is merely a signpost to ask you, come deeper. There's something here you're refusing to see. There's something here you're resisting. And it's okay to have that resistance. It's okay. It's simply inviting you into deeper listening. Because the more you get to listen to yourself, the more you allow yourself to listen to yourself, the more you will listen to others. The more you will not ask external circumstances to make you happy, because that's never going to work. Ever. Because you know what? You are the fractal of the divine. And so ultimately there's only one person here, or rather one divinity here, And everything that you're witnessing is a holograph of your consciousness. It's a hologram of your consciousness. That's it. Like I said at the beginning, 0.01% is matter and the rest is light, pure light, limitlessness. What I see of the tree, man, beyond the matter, I can see what's out there. And so trusting is one of the most core feminine energies that you can ever really allow yourself to have. And that comes with real unlearning. It really comes with unlearning. Linda, your words, I fully read them here as you speak. You know, you are a free spirit. It is the human that feels constricted because for some reason you've taken up the conditioning that you need to be put into a box. But that's where the feminine energy is really being suppressed. You can't be put into a box because you are the sacred and you are infinite presence. But that presence needs to be allowed to grow. It needs to be allowed to come through. And like I said at the beginning, or rather throughout the course of our live session, when I read the quote about the sails, your free will gets to hinder you in that way because you get free will in terms of how you decide to allow your spirit to lead or not allow your spirit to lead. And there's always going to be that, you know, there's no one out there that is punishing you, okay? No one out there is testing you. No universe is trying to make it hard for you. Sorry, this doesn't fly in my world at all. What you need to, well, I invite you into contemplating, I would say, because you don't need to do anything that I'm saying, but I will invite you into really feeling into, will I choose to allow life to be simple and luxurious and spacious for me? Will I choose to allow life to be fulfilling for me? Or are you going to choose life to be very, very difficult for you? Are you going to choose life to be really hard? Like you need to learn all your lessons. You need to get really like, you need to be grounded by the universe and then you'll get that. Because it is all your knowing, your belief, it's a reflection, your consciousness is at that level. Whatever that you're experiencing is going to be a reflection of that consciousness. Even if you touch a moment that is beyond the level of your current consciousness, you would think, oh my gosh, this is too good to be true. Bringing me back down here. And then it'll be like a big smack down on the floor. And you're like, yeah, see, told you so. And the mind is so good at proving itself right. You know, the minute Linda says, when I was a free spirit in my life was very chaotic, unpredictable. The minute that is said and belief code is coded in, that gets to be your reality. Is it the truth? Probably not. And you know that because if it is your truth, you wouldn't feel like it's a problem. And this is the thing about the mind. You know, standing in your divinity, let's put it that way, is a very simple thing, but the mind makes it very complex because it refuses to believe it's such a simple act. It refuses to believe that it's easy. Now, when I say easy, it's probably not easy right here, right now, in this moment, because there requires a lot of unlearning. It requires deep surrender. And when I say deep surrender, I really, really mean really allowing yourself to simply be with what is present, not rushing for the results, not trying to control the outcome, not trying to control what other people are doing so that they can appease you, and vice versa. Because if you are doing that to others, don't be surprised that others are trying to do that with you. Can we speak from the heart? Can we begin to drop from the mind level and begin to open our hearts to true abundance, to true love? Because that is who you are. Because you are all that is. No exceptions, no separation, never have been. If you can dream it, it's already yours. It's probably a very corny and cheesy phrase, but it is the truth. If it exists in your dreams, it's already in your field. It's already percolating in your energy field. The work is really to get out of the way and let it come through. And when I say that, it's not like a manic manifestation thing. It's not about, oh, I need to control, I need to do everything now in the feminine energy, lay back, lean back, manifest, dream it out, put a vision board, blah, 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 blah. You are still bringing in the masculine energy of doing into the Tao. You're flooding the Tao with all your controlling symptoms, the things that you never dealt with. And this is something I'm here to really change. And if I have to speak about this 100 more times so that it gets into your head, so be it. Or come into my space. Let your experience speak for itself. Because nothing, my words can never beat that. My words will only ever, I hope it will land in your heart in some way today, but it will only ever come through here. And for most of you probably go out here, and then maybe you would think, oh, that was interesting, and start to explore in your own way, which is something I hope it is. But really, it is the experience that will change the game. It is the experience of really moving through the mystery, really working with what is present, really finally facing up to the things that you are so afraid of losing control of. Yeah. So yes, you can't learn the art of feminine energy. That is my stance. Because it was perfect. Someone actually put in the question at the very beginning of the chat, like, what tools do we use to allow the spirit guide our day-to-day life? And what if I said to you, the answer is already within you? I can't give you the tools. Yes, I could say to you maybe, oh, okay, you can come in and you can come into Chadao for the multidimensional woman and learn to sit with tea and learn the art of the ceremony and learn how to commune with the medicine of tea and learn the 5 elements, learn the Taoist alchemy, blah, 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 learn Dao Yin, which is a part of an ancient word for Qigong, to open your body, open your joints, open your body to receive cosmic wisdom, because the sages have done this for eons in order to merge heaven and earth together. So we are backed by a lot of greatness. But ultimately, my answer, your answer, is going to be different. And to allow the spirit guide our day-to-day life, we have to get out of the way of our luminosity. We have to allow our luminosity to grow, to expand in a way that it's meant to. Just like the universe, the cosmos is continuously expanding, never not. And there will have to be some stars that have to die in order for new stars to come out. And so if there is any sense of, difficulty in releasing things or fear of death, that's something we work through very deeply as well in my mentorship spaces. And there are no words to describe it. My work is really for the woman who knows that her next level is in the energetic realms. Because in the physical, everything is from energy. Remember what I read? It starts from your spirit arriving to your heart. Your heart arrives, your intention arrives. But intention without heart, that's when things go awry, into disarray. Yeah. All right, beauties. I think today's talk ends here perfectly. I feel really complete. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. I am so appreciative for your presence. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me, comment. And yeah, I really wish for all women to know this. Your divine birthright is to be sacred luxury. Your divine birthright is to be the most high and divine expression. There is no lack in this space. There is no scarcity, no should have, would have, and there's no one out there who's going to make this happen for you. You're the one. You have always been the one. The things that you want, they are already here. So let them in. Okay? All right. That is me for today. Thank you so much for being here. If you're sending donations, I want to thank you in advance as well. Namaste. And for anyone who desire to explore mentorship spaces with me, you're so welcome to drop me a message. I will be more than happy to answer any questions. Mwah! Big kisses. Goodbye.